Hey.
Good afternoon. I'd like to call to order this meeting of the Santa Barbara County Air Pollution Control District. A roll call, please.
Director Clark. Director Perotti. See them both on here.
Present.
Oh, there she is. Adam.
Adam is here.
Lavanino.
Here.
Mosby.
Here.
Patino.
Here.
Sierra.
Here.
Hart.
Here.
Hartman.
Here.
Murillo.
Here.
Johnson. Rubalcaba.
Here.
And Chair Williams.
Here. Please join me
Director Clark is here.
for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Clark is here.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible,
with liberty and justice for all.
Can I get a motion on the minutes or any corrections anybody wishes?
I'll move approval of the minutes.
Second.
There's a motion and a second. Roll call, please.
Director Clark.
Here.
Perotti.
Aye.
Adam.
Aye.
Lavanino.
Aye.
Mosby.
Aye.
Patino.
Aye.
Sierra.
Aye.
Rubalcaba.
Aye.
Hart.
Aye.
Hartman.
Aye.
Murillo.
Aye.
And Chair Williams.
Aye. Is there any desire by the board members to pull an item on the administrative agenda? Any by a member of the public?
No public comment.
No public comment. Can I get a motion on the admin agenda?
I'll move the administrative agenda.
Second.
Mr. Chair, I just need to make an announcement on one item, and that's item D5.
And while you're at it, can you just tell me, can we do motions by acclamation over remote testimony?
So for, under the Brown Act, when you have teleconferencing, you're supposed to do roll call. It's
Got it.
required. So item D5, under Government Code Section 54953, the Brown Act requires that prior to taking a final action, the legislative body shall orally report a summary of the recommendation of final action on compensation paid to a local agency executive. Item D5 provides a cost of living adjustment for management and unrepresented employees. Per the terms of the agreement of employment, anytime the board authorizes a COLA for district staff, the board shall apply the COLA to the control officer. So just wanted to make the board aware of that and have that be the report for the Brown Act.
Great. We have a motion and a second on the admin agenda. Roll call, please.
I'm sorry, Chair Williams, who was the first and who was the second?
Greg was the second, I believe.
I think Hartman
Oh,
seconded.
Hartman said.
Thank you. Director
Patino
Clark?
also did the second.
All right. Let's do, in the sake of valuing remote testimony, let's put Patino as the second.
Aye. Thank you, Chair.
All right, Director Clark?
Aye.
Perotti?
Aye.
Adam?
Aye.
Lavanino?
Aye.
Mosby?
Aye.
Patino?
Aye.
Sierra?
Aye.
Rubalcaba?
Aye.
Hart?
Aye.
Hartman?
Aye.
Murillo?
Aye.
And Chair Williams.
Aye. Director's report, please.
Thank you. First thing, I would like to recognize all the hard work and great coordination that took place for a number of the items in the administrative agenda. 5 of 8 of those items came down to the 11th hour as far as receiving information from the California Air Resources Board on our grant contracts and ETA. And my staff, Tina, Molly, and Caitlin, worked very efficiently to get the material circulated to District Council, County Auditor Control, and Risk Assessment for their review and approval. And it's just amazing in the midst of COVID, all of this remote coordination. I just really appreciate everyone's efforts to jump on these items, complete their review, do their signatures, and with the use of electronic signatures, which I think definitely has been a benefit to all of this, and get it to Lorena just in the nick of time for docketing. So it was great interagency coordination. I really appreciate everyone's hard work. I have 2 specific items that I have a PowerPoint presentation I'd just like to walk through quickly. The first item, I wanted to discuss a prescribed burn on June 10th and 11th. The district participated in a live fire training in Los Olivos for firefighting personnel, vegetation management benefits to landowners. Next slide, please. It was an 86 acres was approved to burn. And as we know, the role of prescribed burns is to reduce the risk of wildfires and conducting these burns when meteorological conditions are most favorable to limit smoke impacts to the surrounding community. The district plays 4 key roles in prescribed burns, and we work closely with the fire agency that's involved. First off, we review and we approve the smoke management plan for the prescribed burns. This plan defines the ideal conditions and parameters for each planned burn. The second, the district's smoke management coordinator is on site during the burn, working closely with the burn boss to ensure operations do not result in smoke impacts to the residents or cause air quality violations. The third, monitoring staff installs portable air monitoring device in the neighboring community, and for this planned burn, the EBAM was placed at the Los Olivos Elementary School. This information was collected during the 2-day burn and was put up on our website, so it was available for anyone interested in observing the impact. And the fourth specific task is a 2-step public outreach effort that we do in conjunction with the fire agency to notify residents of an upcoming burn so they're aware and they can also prepare if necessary. And also from the very first slide, signage during the burn, so people aren't alarmed if they perchance did not get notification and didn't see anything in the media. They realize it is a prescribed burn. Next slide. This was a successful burn. It resulted in the burning of approximately 90% of the total goal, so 78 of the 86 acres. There were no smoke or odor complaints that either Air District or the fire agency received. And the EBAM, that's the chart to the left of the screen. During the burn, you could see, you might not be able to see it on the slide, but you could see the ignition time And then below that time, once it started to the end, all of the PM levels were well within the green good air quality index level. So this was a very successful burn-in, and it also provided a lot of training, not just for local fire lead agencies, but neighboring air district and lead burners as well. The last item I'd like to share is a wildfire preparedness campaign that we're working with County Public Health on clean air rooms. Wildfire season is now upon us, and it actually feels like we cannot start this campaign soon enough. Even with the fire in Avila earlier this week, we were concerned of the need to issue a press release with even some of this material included in it. During a wildfire, one of the most effective tools for anyone to do is to stay inside in a clean air room. But there's also a need to make sure that your clean air room actually has good indoor air quality. So we're generating a campaign, you can go to the next slide please, that includes infographics that are created in both English and Spanish. We'll be utilizing this information through our social media outlets. We're also issuing a press release. We're scheduling that for next week, and paid advertisements as well. So in addition to information on the use of a HEPA indoor air filter or air purifier, that's what you see on the left side, we're also including, and you can go to the next slide to see it in close, more detail, information on how to do it yourself, how to build your own HEPA air purifier, and then also ways to minimize impacts from the smoke coming into your house and making sure that the indoor air quality is as clean as possible. So we are very excited about this campaign, and we look forward to getting this out, fingers crossed, in advance of wildfire impacting our area. And that concludes my director's report.
Any questions on the director's report?
Just had a comment. Thank you very much for the amazing graphics about the MacGyver home air filter. That is awesome. I have a fan like that and never thought about doing that, and now I'm encouraged.
Yeah, we thought it would be helpful for all of us, but even in a school setting as well. There is a bill, the Buffy Wicks bill was passed last year with the goal of having state funding earmarked to expand that to community facilities, whether it's at schools or libraries. But as we know with the state budget, funds are being cut, and not as many funds as we were hoping were going to be provided this coming year for that effort. So this is something that daycare facilities, any place that has a box fan, and you can go to the hardware store and get a MERV filter pretty easily. So we thought that would be useful.
Any other questions, comments? Then we will go to public comment for items not on the agenda.
No public comment.
And discussion items, item G1.
Discussion item G1, overview of voluntary clean air grant and incentive programs. Receive and file a presentation on the status of the district's clean air grant and incentive program.
Today you will receive a presentation from Mike McKay, Air Quality Specialist in our Planning Division. Mike works out of our Santa Maria office, and he's been with the district for 9.5 years. He started out for the first 7 years in our compliance division, doing variance in our hearing board as well as inspections for compliance. And 2 years ago, he moved into the planning division. Mr. McKay now serves as our primary lead for implementing our grant programs. This is his first presentation to the board, and I'm glad he has the opportunity to present on our grant and incentive program.
Well, good afternoon, Chair Williams and members of the board. As Aaron said, I'm Mike McKay with the Planning Division at the district. Today I'll be giving you a rundown of the district's fiscal year 1920 grant and incentive programs. On the following slides, I'm going to cover the history of our programs, the current fiscal year funding, locations of our grant projects, along with a brief description of each grant project type, our incentive programs, next fiscal year's expected funding, and then I'll wrap up with some testimonials from previous grantees. So over the last 33 years, the district has distributed over $42 million in state and local funds for grant and incentive projects throughout Santa Barbara County. The mitigation funds in blue were collected from businesses that were required to mitigate excess emissions, and most of those funds were expended in the 1990s. Since that time, the DMV funds in green and CARB funds in yellow have been our primary source of funding. The intended use of these funds is to help clean up equipment that is not required to be replaced by regulation. A lot of this equipment has been in service for decades, and most have engines with no emission controls. So we want to incentivize the use of new, cleaner technology, which directly benefits businesses and community members, as well as community health. This table you see here is duplicative to Table 1 on page 4 of your board letter and breaks down the 8 funding sources that we utilize for our program this fiscal year. In addition to project funds, some of these programs also offer administration funds. And as illustrated in the table, you can see that these administration funds are insufficient to cover the cost to operate the programs. That being said, we were able to fund a wide variety of projects throughout the county using these sources. And with these funds, one of the challenges we face are the types of projects that we can fund. For example, farmer funds are limited to agriculture projects. We can't fund marine or infrastructure or school bus projects with farmer, while community air protection or CAP funds are specific to low-income community projects. So for project selection this year, we used a first-come, first-served basis, and then we prioritized zero-emission technology and low-income community projects. And we try to balance the types of projects we fund, and the dollar amounts we're able to offer an applicant can sometimes impact that balance as grant amounts differ from project to project. So one thing before moving on, in fiscal year 1920, the district saw its largest amount of state and local grant and incentive funds ever. This was partially due to Ms. Arlen Janet's dedication to our mission while working with CARB management and the CAPCOA board to secure these funds for us. So here we have a map of the county showing all grant project locations. The underlying light blue highlights AB 1550 areas, and in between the two large portions of blue are smaller areas you might not be able to see in Carpinteria, parts of Santa Barbara, Goleta, and Isla Vista, as well as a portion of Lompoc. As mentioned earlier, in order for a project to be funded by CAP funds, which are represented by the black stars, it must be located within or serve those light blue areas. All other projects we were able to fund this year are represented by green. So now I'll move on to the next few slides where I'll be highlighting some specific project types that we funded. For our grant program this year, we were able to fund 6 types of projects, 4 of which are shown here. We were able to do 2 marine projects, both of which are located out of the Santa Barbara Harbor. We have 4 school bus projects, which 2 are in Lompoc, 1 in Santa Maria, and 1 in Orcutt. We have an agriculture pump repower, which was replacing a big diesel engine with an electric motor. And we're currently working on a grant with the Santa Barbara Metro Transit District to fund an electric transit bus. Infrastructure projects. They were a big hit this year, and overall we were able to fund 10 projects for both private and public facilities with 99 level 2 charging plugs. But the upper left, we have the City of Santa Barbara fleet parking lot. Upper right, we've got the Granada Garage in downtown Santa Barbara. This project was the largest infrastructure project that we've done to date in the county with 34 total charging plugs. In the middle is the Allen Hancock College campus in Santa Maria, Marion Medical Center on the bottom left, and then Hampton Inn on the north end of Santa Maria on the bottom right. So like all of our project types, excuse me, we continually work with our infrastructure applicants to help make them a successful type in our county. We've been receiving interest for a few months now for next year's fiscal program, which we plan to open in late summer. Off-road equipment is a very popular project type, and we historically receive more applications for these projects than any other. This year was no different. These high-usage off-road projects tend to have great emission benefits when an engine with no emission controls is replaced with a Tier 4 final engine. And as with all grant projects, once a project is selected for funding and agreed to by the applicant, we perform 3 separate inspections during the grant process: a pre-inspection, a post-inspection, and a salvage inspection. The images on the left are pre-inspection photos for Boa Vista Farms, which is located in the Santa Maria Valley, and Flower and Vine, which is in Los Alamos. And the pictures on the right are post-inspection photos of the new equipment that they'll be purchasing. The overall goal is to get rid of the old polluting equipment, and there's a process by which we are required to confirm disposal of that old equipment. For example, the next slide is a short video showing what happened to the old flower and vine tractor. And so as you can see, that tractor can no longer be used in the county or anywhere else for that matter. The frame and the engine block are rendered unusable, and we document that with pictures and videos. This process is something that must be completed before grantees are able to receive reimbursement for their project. So on to our incentive programs. The old car buyback has been a successful incentive program for many years and is a direct benefit to county residents. We continue to receive a lot of interest and are planning to bring new contracts to your board in August with 2 new dismantlers and a proposal to extend the model year, which should increase participation. And the wood smoke program has also been successful. The average project cost is around $5,500, $5,000 of which can be paid through incentives to an applicant in a low-income household and up to $1,000 for all other qualified projects. The inaugural year of our LEAF program was also very successful. We received a lot of interest along with many inquiries, hoping we can continue it another year. This program incentivizes businesses and agencies to adopt clean air technology for their landscape operations. And not only does this program improve regional quality, but it also benefits equipment operators and others throughout our community. We were able to fund 18 of 29 eligible applications, and the projects we were able to fund included 10 schools, 7 commercial landscapers, and 1 public agency, which was the city of Lompoc. Looking ahead, these are the expected funds for our fiscal year 2021 program. And as noted in your board letter, some of these funds may be impacted by state budget decisions. But as of right now, these are the dollars that we are expecting. We will keep the board apprised of any impacts to our grant and incentive program funds for next fiscal year. On the left is our new decal that we can place on future grant projects to raise awareness of our agency and grant programs and better promoting our program to people that might not otherwise know about it. And we also like to keep in touch with grantees throughout the years and like to know how things are going with their new equipment. The text on the right are testimonials from some of those grantees. These responses are great examples as to how our grant and incentive programs are a positive impact to both business and personal lives within our community. So it's a pleasure being able to help people improve production, happiness, and overall health, and I look forward to getting started on next year's program. So here's my contact information, and I'd be happy to answer any questions if there are any.
Questions from board members? Board Member Hartman.
I'm really excited about the electric equipment, lawn care, outdoor landscaping equipment. Many of the people who work in the landscape maintenance field are Latino and Spanish speaking, and I just wonder how we reach out to them, especially both in terms of grant application opportunities and also when we get the results and the testimonials.
I'll let Ms.
Okay.
Arlen Janae.
In the launch of the program, we did a lot of specific targeting for all the businesses, all the landscape companies in our area, and that was included in English and Spanish. And with all of those that we've been able to award funding with for this first year pilot project, we are looping back with them and seeing how well it works. Yeah, and I'm looking to Lorena. I believe you might have actually helped someone submit an application for this program that was a Spanish-speaking individual.
That's correct. I walked them through the process, and they had a lot of questions.
Yeah, so we provide that service as well.
Good. Well, is there more that we can do, do you think?
I think there's always more we can do as far as reaching out and becoming better aware within the Spanish-speaking community, and that's something that we're trying to do with all of our programs now. And on the last presentation, when Liz provides an update on our website and our agency awareness campaign, that's a big part of just letting individuals countywide regardless of the language they speak, understanding who we are and the services we provide.
I will chime in a little bit and just say I agree with Supervisor Hartman about how exciting this, the issue is sort of longstanding. I've always wanted a policy solution that wasn't punitive towards, low-income landscape workers, but addressed the clean air issues, and this is a great start. It is a big issue. California Air Resources Board says that this year the smog-causing constituents of these machines will outpace the contribution of automobiles to smog, which is really amazing to me. So yeah, we should continue and expand it however we can. Other questions or comments from other board members? Then we will move on to the speed vessel reduction program.
Did we take action on that item?
Can I get a motion to receive and file G1?
So moved.
Oh, okay.
There is a motion by Hartman, a second by Hart. And can I get a roll call?
Director Clark?
Aye.
Perotti?
Aye.
Adam?
Aye.
Lavanino?
Aye.
Mosby? Patino?
Aye.
Sierra?
Aye.
Rubalcaba?
Aye.
Hart?
Aye.
Hartman?
Aye.
Murillo?
Aye.
And Chair Williams.
Aye. G2.
Item G2, results from the 2019 Vessel Speed Reduction Incentive Program. Receive and file an update on the 2019 Vessel Speed Reduction Incentive Program.
Today, Molly Pearson, manager of the Planning Division, will provide you with the results of the 2019 VSR Incentive Program and a snapshot into the 2020 program that was recently launched in May of this year. In addition to her presentation, I also want to make sure you have seen our nice fact sheet that's included in the handouts today. That was compiled by our team, led by Liz Hoffman, our Public Information Officer, and our new outreach intern, Deja Perry, who recently joined the district.
Great. Thank you. Good afternoon, Chair Williams and members of the board. I'm Molly Pearson, Planning Division Manager, and I'll be providing some background on our Vessel Speed Reduction Program, and then I'll report on the exciting results from the 2019 program. Hopefully you all received the fact sheet. We just talked about that, and I'll talk about it a little bit later. First, I'd like to give some background. We've known for a long time that offshore emissions affect our air quality onshore. However, offshore activities are generally outside of our regulatory authority. Over the years, the district has explored and implemented many different strategies to reduce offshore emissions. This pie chart you see up on the slide is from the 2019 ozone plan that was approved by your board just last December. The blue shaded area on the left represents emissions from marine shipping at 56% of the total inventory of reactive organic compounds and NOx, which are our ozone precursors. There are thousands of ocean-going vessel transits in our region every year, and the slower they go, the less pollution they emit. The 2019 ozone plan includes a commitment to continue seeking emission reductions from ocean-going vessels so that we continue to attain the state and the federal ozone standards. There's also a great co-benefit to slowing down these ships because slower ships are less harmful to whales. Slower ships result in fewer fatal ship strikes and also reduces the engine noise that can interfere with whale communication. The combination of these benefits, air quality and whale protection, has led to a very successful partnership that includes 3 air districts from Bay Area, Ventura County, and Santa Barbara County, 3 national marine sanctuaries, including the Channel Islands, Greater Farallones, and Cordell Bank sanctuaries, 4 nonprofit organizations, including the California and National Marine Sanctuary Foundations, the Volcano Foundation, and the Environmental Defense Center. These partnerships bring a wealth of experience, staff, resources, and support to our program. It's allowed us to gain more insight, learn from experience, tap new funding sources, and make the program bigger and better each time we do it. The Protecting Blue Whales and Blue Sky logos on the right of this slide was created to represent this great partnership. So our vessel speed reduction program started with a trial program in 2014, and it's grown in size every year that we've done it. The 2019 program is the 5th year, and each year the benefits have increased. In 2019, we asked companies, again, to voluntarily slow down to a speed of 10 knots or less during the season, which ran from May 15th through November 15th, a full 6 months. We typically see higher ozone levels during the season and also more whales that are feeding during the late spring and early fall time period. The pictures at the bottom of this slide are the 3 endangered whale species that we find in this region. The blue whale on the left, the humpback whale in the middle, and the fin whale on the right. So to help visualize the program in 2019, here's the maps for the San Francisco Bay Area on the left and the Santa Barbara Channel region on the right. These areas represent some of the busiest shipping lanes in the country, as vessels are making round trips between Asia to the ports of Los Angeles and Long Beach and Oakland. The VSR zones are shown in green. So on the left in the Bay Area, there's a traffic separation scheme with 3 different routes that all funnel together and then travel under the Golden Gate Bridge. In the Santa Barbara region, many of the vessels travel in the designated shipping lane in the Santa Barbara Channel. So you can see that on the top of the slide on the right, it's the thinner green line. And then some of them also use a route to the south of the Channel Islands. That's the thicker green on the bottom of the slide on the right. The purple circle on the right shows the 40-mile VSR zone for the Los Angeles and Long Beach ports voluntary program, which has been in place since 2001. The 2019 program was open to container ships and auto carriers, since these ships typically travel between 15 and 18 knots. The companies signed up their entire fleet, and we calculated each fleet's cooperation based on the percent of distance traveled at speeds of 10 knots or less within those zones during the time period. There were 4 recognition levels, ranging from the Bronze Award, where 10 to 24% of the miles were at slow speeds, to the highest level Sapphire Award, where 75% or more of the miles were at 10 knots or less. Some of these companies have 40 to 50 vessels, so if they wanted that Sapphire Award, it was a significant effort to slow down 75% or more of those miles to 10 knots. The 2019 program had over $250,000 in incentive funds available, and higher monetary incentives were given to those companies that slowed down the most. The funding was made available by the Ventura County Air Pollution Control District through a California Air Resources Board supplemental environmental project. Also, the Volcano Foundation and the Bay Area Air District contributed incentive funds. Our Air District provided program support, including data review and analysis, outreach, and coordination. Now for the results. This year we had a much higher compliance rate compared to 2018. The more companies reached the Sapphire and Gold levels, you can see 4 in the Sapphire level and 7 in the Gold level. We attribute this to better communication with the shipping companies, and we also think that keeping the program fairly consistent between years was helpful, so the companies knew what to expect going into the 2019 program. The incentive payments range from $1,500 to $50,000, depending on the award level and the size of the fleet. The bronze companies at the bottom of the list did not receive financial incentives, but their efforts contributed to the overall success of the program, and they were recognized for their efforts. This year, award recipients were given the option to decline their incentive payment and reinvest it in the 2020 program. 5 companies, Polynesia Line, Gali, Costco, Evergreen, and K-Line, all generously chose this option and declined their payment. That amounts to over $60,000 in funds that will be reinvested in the 2020 program. Identifying program funding is an ongoing challenge, so we're really excited and appreciative that these companies were willing to forego payment and slow down just for the recognition benefit. This is my personal favorite, this chart. It shows how the program has evolved and expanded over the years. So back in 2014, it was a small trial program with a handful of vessels slowing down for just very specific transits. Now, with the fleet approach that we started in 2018, we're at 349 vessels, as you can see in the column on the right. 349 vessels participating means that the program reaches 349 vessel captains and also the crews on those vessels. To calculate the emission benefits, the partners once again contracted with Starcrest Consulting Group, a company with specific knowledge and experience working on shipping incentive programs around the globe. This year's program achieved 536 tons of NOx reductions. That's about the same amount of emissions from all the heavy-duty diesel trucks that traveled in Santa Barbara County during that period. The program has also achieved over 17,000 metric tons of greenhouse gas reductions, and every year the program has doubled or tripled in the amount of emission reductions achieved as more companies have participated and have slowed down more of their transits. Our goal is to keep this trend going and to achieve greater participation with even more shipping companies. We've employed several different strategies to recognize these companies that participated this year. In prior years, we've held recognition ceremonies where we invite partners, participants, the media, and other stakeholders to celebrate the program's success. This year, a ceremony was scheduled for April 3rd at Port Hueneme. Well, it was postponed due to COVID-19. We haven't yet scheduled a new date due to uncertainties related to travel and gatherings. The program partners issued a news release in May 2020, and it identified the award recipients and recognized their efforts. We've provided those results that I shared with you today on our website. We developed the fact sheet that details the 29 program as well as the results, and the fact sheet is available on our website. We really hope that folks will share this information and celebrate the program's success with others. Our partners have said they frequently refer to our website and to the fact sheets we develop each year for more information on the program. The pictures on the right are from the fact sheet showing the front page as well as a full page with company logos and recognition levels. Every season we talk to companies to see how we can make the program better, and one idea that surfaced last year was more recognition in shipping magazines. So we've placed an advertisement with G-Captain, which is an online shipping resource, and we plan to do more outreach timed with that future award ceremony. Again, in 2020, we were able to design and launch a VSR program that officially began on May 15th. Ventura County Air Pollution Control secured a $150,000 grant from EPA Region 9 for this effort, and the Bay Area Air District also plans to contribute. Together with the declined incentive payments from the 2019 program, the 2020 program funding will be similar to previous years. We're very thankful and proud of our partnership with the other air districts, the marine sanctuaries, and other organizations who've helped to contribute to the program's success. This year, we're using a map that's a little more consistent with the NOAA National Marine Sanctuary's voluntary slow speed request in Southern California. You see the map on the slide here. Advantages to using this map is not only for consistency, it also allows us to quantify benefits for a larger geographic area, and it also includes some of the unique vessel routes that are made to reach the Port of Hueneme. This upcoming season may look different as the economy recovers and adapts to the challenges of COVID-19. So far, we've seen a 15 to 20% reduction in the number of transits coming through our region. We still hope that companies can make scheduling adjustments and continue to slow down off our coast. So thank you for your time. I'm happy to answer questions, and I've also included contact information for myself and Tim Mitro. He works more closely on the technical side of this program.
Thank you, Ms. Pearson. Any questions from the board members or comments?
Mr. Chair.
Yes, Director Maria.
Ms. Pearson, can you explain a little bit more about the NOAA voluntary zone map? I'm just not sure about the relationship between those zones.
Yeah, so both in the northern region and in the southern region, NOAA has actually been asking ships to slow down, and they've actually been doing a recognition program without any incentive amounts. Both in our region and in the Bay Area. So our desire has been to make the program more consistent with what NOAA has been asking folks to do. They have traditionally asked people to slow down to 10 knots, or shippers to slow down to 10 knots, so we've gotten consistency there. But this is more like the map that they issue to shippers every year, just asking them to slow down and please watch out for the whales. So that was our desire. It's a little bit broader region. Most of the ships actually do go in the routes that we had on our prior maps, but we'll be able to capture a little more than nautical miles traveled, and like I said, some of the unique routes that go from the south into Port Hueneme with this new map.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Other questions from board members? Comments? Thank you. Oh, Supervisor Hartman?
Thank you. I was just curious, do they sign up front and say we're going to do this with a certain number of ships, or is it an after the fact and they report on what they did?
Yeah, Chair Williams, Director Hartman, we actually do ask them to sign up ahead of time, but it's not mandatory that they sign up ahead of time. We will, if they comply with our program, we will still acknowledge, even if they sign up late.
And do they keep records of any kind, or?
Well, Chair Hartman, excuse me, Director Hartman, we're able to do a lot of tracking just based on, it's called AIS data. So we are able to do that tracking ourselves. They don't have to do anything except really try to slow down in those zones.
For a while, I know in prior years, we were asking for the vessels to cite or track the sighting of whales. Is that still part of the program?
Yeah, I'm not sure if it's in our materials this year. I'd have to look, but that is something we encourage, and there are some apps that they can use to report whales. And we have actually acknowledged certain shippers that have done more of that voluntary whale sighting as well.
The recognition level is based off of the percentage of their fleet that adheres to it, and not a relationship with the size of the fleet, right?
Chair Williams, it's actually the percent of distance that they traveled within that zone. So it's not really, it's just all their miles, and then how much of it was less than 10 knots.
Got it.
So,
Well, then I would be lax if I didn't call out the fact that Polynesia Line and Great American Lines, Inc. Have done such a large percentage of their miles for very low award levels. So we are really getting some cooperation from whoever those guys are, or gals. Other questions or comments from the board? Can I get a motion to receive and file G2?
So moved.
Second.
First by Lavanino, second by Hart. Roll call, please.
Director Clark? Perotti?
Aye.
Adam?
Aye.
Lavanino?
Aye.
Mosby?
Aye.
Patino?
Aye.
Sierra?
aye.
Rubalcaba?
Aye.
Hart?
Aye.
Hartman?
Aye.
Murillo?
Aye.
And Chair Williams.
Aye. G3.
Discussion item G3, new district website and agency awareness campaign. Receive and file an update on the presentation on the new district website.
And our last item before you today, Liz Hoffman, the district's public information officer, will present on a soon-to-be-launched website and agency awareness campaign. This has been a lot of work, not only for our logo that's a primary part of this, but for the overall design. I think our website, as it has historically been structured, is a lot to work with, a lot of information that we even have difficulty finding. So I'm very excited about our website that Liz will be presenting.
Let's start that over. Good afternoon, Chair Williams and board members. Like Erin said, I'm Liz Hoffman, District Public Information Officer. I'm really excited to close out our meeting today by sharing with you a preview of our new website, just about 10 slides or so. The new website will launch before your next board meeting with us in August, and so we wanted to give you a sneak peek of some of our favorite new features. The photo shown here is one of many that we had a local photographer take of various scenes throughout Santa Barbara County, and I've included many examples of those photos throughout my presentation. So we've been working with a local website designer on this project to improve elements related to functionality and design of the website, and also to ensure that our most popular web pages are very easy to find. This slide here shows the new and improved homepage. We also have a look at the new homepage on a mobile device. The new homepage has improved navigation features, a smarter search function, and a link to a sitemap, which we did not have previously. And overall, the main menu is just much better organized and much more intuitive for users. We'll also now be showing air quality data directly on the homepage with the option of clicking through for more detailed information. As you saw on the previous slide, and as I just mentioned, we're now going to be showing air quality data directly on the homepage. As you may imagine, our webpage that shows the current air quality conditions and daily forecasts is by far our most visited webpage. So now, in addition to getting that air quality information immediately on the homepage, visitors to the website will also have more ways of seeing that data. We achieved this by sprucing up that popular webpage. So as shown on the slide here, these are screenshots of the new widget that we're going to have on that web page. We made the current conditions data available in multiple formats. Currently, it's just available in chart form. So we added a map feature, and we're also providing more interactive features like being able to hover over a monitoring station to get more data about the readings. That's shown in the top right screenshot. We also have different toggling features as indicated by the blue arrows on the screen. So there's a button to toggle between the current conditions and the forecasted conditions if you would like. And I feel compelled to mention that the screenshot of the forecasted conditions is a mock-up. We don't have any red forecasted days currently, thankfully. The new software that we're using for this widget will also allow staff internally to play around with creating, and more easily doing so, creating more depictions of air quality trends and other information, and we'll be continuing to work on that to see what other types of visualizations we can provide on our new website. So I feel like I'm beating the drum on this, but the air quality data webpage that we have is very, very popular, and that's during normal times. During wildfires, the popularity just skyrockets. So for that reason, we wanted to have a splash page immediately on the homepage that people could go to without having to click around too much and find any information about smoke and air quality during those wildfire events. And this is a mock-up of what that would look like. Hopefully we don't have another Thomas fire, level fire, for quite some time. In starting this website revamp project, we also wanted to ensure that resources in Spanish were easier to find in one central location. So we now have a landing page that's directly on the homepage, as indicated by the blue arrow at the top. I realize the white is a little faint, but hopefully it's shown well in your printed presentation. This landing page will list all of the web pages and materials that we have available in Spanish. We have a decent amount of materials and resources.
That is an alarm, so we will temporarily adjourn for a fire alarm. in expectation of lost quorum, I am adjourning this meeting. We will continue to have the nominating committee afterwards because I think that Ms. Patino and Mr. Adam have held on in a dedicated fashion, so we will go quickly into nominating board meeting. We are adjourned until August 20th, 2020, and we will do formal receive and file for G3 at that meeting.